All right, let's get right into it. You know, deep inside your body, right this very second, there's this substance that's basically a double agent. Seriously. On one hand, it's a total villain, the thing that causes some really intense pain. But on the other, it's a hero, working behind the scenes to protect your heart. So today, we're going to unmask these secret agents and figure out how in the world they pull off this incredible double act. I mean, we've all been there, right? You bump your knee, sprain an elbow, and then comes that familiar, throbbing pain. The heat, the swelling. It's like this universal language of ouch. And our first thought is always the same. Just make it stop.
But what if I told you that the very thing causing all that discomfort is actually part of a much bigger, way more complicated story? That the culprit behind the pain is also a hero playing a vital protective role somewhere else in your body? Yeah. So let's pull back that curtain.
Okay, so to really get this whole story, we've got to start by meeting the main characters, specifically the ones responsible for that really obvious part of inflammation, the pain. So it all kicks off with this group of substances called Autacoids. The best way to think about them? They're like your body's local emergency text messages. Seriously, they're not like long-distance hormones that travel everywhere. Nope, they're made right on the spot, where they're needed. They deliver a super quick, urgent message, and then poof, they're gone. They really are the body's rapid response team. And inside that rapid response team, there's this one really important family we have to zoom in on, the Kinins. These guys, they are the main characters of our story today. And believe me, they are major, major players in the whole drama of inflammation.
Now, let's be honest, at first glance, Kinins look like pure villains. I mean, when they show up on the scene, they cause some intense pain because they fire up your sensory neurons. They're the ones that make your blood vessels widen and get all leaky, which, you guessed it, leads to that classic redness and swelling. Oh, and for people with asthma, they can trigger really dangerous bronchospasms. This is the side of them we all know and definitely don't love.
And this is a perfect picture of what I'm talking about. If you've ever had an allergy test done on your skin, you've seen Kinins in action, firsthand. That raised, red bump, what doctors call the wheal and flare, that's a textbook example of what happens when Kinins are let loose. It's like a direct visual billboard of their power. So where do these powerful little agents of pain actually come from? Let's get into their origin story, see how they're made. You know, the way these kinins get made is actually pretty straightforward. Your body has this inactive stuff just kind of floating around called kininogen. But when tissue gets damaged, these enzymes called kallikreins wake up, and they act just like a tiny pair of molecular scissors. They snip off a piece of that kininogen, and boom, you've got active, powerful kinins like bradykinin. It's a totally on-demand system. But here's the crazy part. Their whole reign of terror is incredibly short. We're talking a half-life of only about 15 seconds. Think about that. They're specifically designed to act locally, do their job, and then disappear almost instantly. And that's super important, right? It makes sure that this intense inflammatory response stays contained right where the injury is, instead of running wild all over your body. Okay, so we've pretty much painted the kinins as these fast-acting, pain-causing villains, but that is only half the story. And this is where it gets really interesting. Just when you think you've got them pegged, there's a heroic twist in the plot. So get this. While they're causing all that chaos at an injury site, these same kinins are also off doing some incredibly good things elsewhere. For one, they're cardioprotective. That's a fancy way of saying they help shield your heart from injury. They also boost blood flow to your kidneys and help your body get rid of extra sodium, which is absolutely vital for controlling blood pressure. They even help fight against the nasty changes in your heart and blood vessels that can lead to long-term disease. Pretty amazing, right? And we're not talking about some minor side hustle for them either. As the research makes really clear, their role is critical. They are fundamental players in keeping our entire cardiovascular system healthy. So suddenly, the villain of pain is starting to look a lot like the guardian of our heart and our kidneys. So how is this possible? How can one substance be both a hero and a villain? Well, the answer really lies in the company they keep. See, kinins don't act alone, not at all. They're part of this super delicate balancing act with a rival system. All right, let's look at the other side of the tracks here. Meet the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, or, much easier, RAAS. And its main job is the exact opposite of what the kinin system does. RAAS is designed to raise your blood pressure, mostly by squeezing your blood vessels and making your body hold on to salt and water. I mean, when you put these two systems side by side, the contrast is just stark. It's like night and day. The Kinin system lowers blood pressure, RAS raises it. Kinins are protective for your heart and kidneys, and overactive RAS can cause harmful tissue growth. But look at that last line. The absolute key to their entire relationship, this whole epic battle, it all comes down to one single enzyme. And here it is. It all comes down to this. Right there in the middle, connecting everything, is one enzyme, angiotensin-converting enzyme, or ACE. But if you look closely, you'll see it has a second name, kinase 2. This one molecule, this single molecule, is the linchpin. It's the master switch that controls both of these totally opposite forces. And this, right here, is the big reveal. The ACE enzyme is playing two completely different roles at the same time. On one hand, it creates our antagonist. It takes inactive angiotensin 1 and turns it into the powerful blood pressure-raising angiotensin 2. But at the exact same moment, it's also acting as kinase 2, which breaks down and destroys our protective hero bradykinin. So think about that. ACE boosts the bad guy system while it shuts down the good guy system, all in one move.
So why does all this matter? Well, understanding this incredible balancing act isn't just some cool biology trivia. It is literally the key that has unlocked some of the most important medicines we have today.
This is where the science becomes life-saving. We can actually hack this system. You probably heard of blood pressure meds called ACE inhibitors, right? Well, they work by blocking that ACE enzyme, and that delivers this perfect 1-2 punch. It stops the body from making the blood pressure-raising villain, and it stops the body from breaking down the blood pressure-lowering hero. Now, on the flip side, for conditions where the kinins go totally haywire, like a disease called hereditary angioedema, we have other drugs that do the opposite. They block kinin production to stop all that painful swelling.
So when you boil it all down, by understanding this internal conflict, this biological story of heroes and villains, we can strategically tip the scales in our favor. We can choose whether we need to boost the hero or suppress the villain. And that knowledge leads to life-saving treatments for millions and millions of people.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Our bodies aren't just simple machines with good parts and bad parts. They're these incredibly complex ecosystems full of balance and conflict. And it leaves you with this one last thought. If one single substance can be so helpful and so harmful, just imagine how many other double-edged swords are still operating in the shadows inside of us, just waiting for us to finally understand their story.